defense of insanity, with claiming that DeFeo had killed his family in self-defense because he heard their voices plotting against him. The insanity plea was supported by a psychiatrist for the defense, Daniel Swartz. The psychiatrist for the prosecution, Dr. Harold Zolan, maintained that although DeFeo was a user of heroin and LSD, he had an anti-personality disorder and was aware of the actions at the time of the crime. In November 21st, 1975, DeFeo was found guilty on 6 counts of second-degree murder, and in December of 1975, the judge sentenced DeFeo to 6 consecutive sentences of 25 years to life. DeFeo is still alive and currently held at the Sutherland County facility in the town of Fallsburg, New York, with all his appeals and requests to the parole board to date have been denied.
Oh, he's still alive?
He's still alive.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah, he's never getting out.
Okay.
Now, here's some, issues with this case, and I'm going to list some of them now. All 6 of the victims were found face down in their beds with no sign of struggle.
Mm-hmm.
The police investigation concluded the rifle had not been fitted with a sound suppressor and found evidence of sedatives having been administered.
That answers what I was just asking earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
DeFeo admitted they drugged the family during this interrogation by the police. But neighbors did not report hearing any gunshots being fired. And those who were awake at the time of the murder simply heard the family dog, Shaggy, barking.
So he killed him somewhere else and brought him home?
No, he killed him in the home.
Uh-huh.
No one heard the gunshots at all.
Okay.
And that rifle, they tested it. That rifle is loud. That Martin rifle is very loud.
Most rifles are.
You can hear, they did a test of it, and that rifle you can hear 2 blocks away.
Okay.
No one heard anything. Not the next door neighbor, anybody. No gunshots whatsoever.
Interesting.
DeFeo had a volatile relationship with his father, but the motives of the killings remain unclear. He asked police what he had to do in order to collect his father's life insurance, which prompted the prosecution to suggest at trial that his motives was to collect on the life insurance policies of his parents. Since his conviction, DeFeo has given several various accounts of how the killings were carried out. In a 1986 interview for Newsday, DeFeo claimed that his sister Dawn killed their father and that their distraught mother killed all the siblings before he killed his mother. He stated that he took the blame because he was afraid to say anything negative about his mother to her father and his father's uncle out of fear they would kill him. His father's uncle was Pete DeFeo, who was involved with the Genovese crime family.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in New York, right?
Yeah. Well, they're not in New York City.
You didn't even really talk about it. Where is Amityville?
Amityville is north.
It's in the state of New York.
It's in the state of New York. It's north of New York City.
Is it close to? Is it close to the ocean?
Here, I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'm looking it up. It's a village in the town of Babylon in Suffolk County. Yeah, it's close to the ocean. It's I think it's looks like east of New York City.
Oh, so it's not even upstate. It's like on the peninsula that.
Yeah, no, it's not east of New York. It's west of New York City.
Look, Amityville.
Yeah, it's west of New York City.
No, that's east of New York City.
Where's New York City? Oh, that's New York City.
This is New York City, and that's east of it.
Oh, east. I'm sorry, east.
Right? That's the same Amityville?
Yeah. That's
so it's not like some random city or town up north.
It's on the aisle.
It's on the aisle, yeah. Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to distract, but all right.
We're gonna leave off.
Population of 9,500 in 2010. So this is a small ass town.
Yeah, it's a really small town.
Okay.
This is what it's known for.
Clearly.
In an interview, DeFeo asserted that he was married at the time of the murders to a woman named Genevieve Gates, with whom he was living in New Jersey, and that his mother phoned to ask him to return to Amityville to break up a fight between Dawn and her father. He drove to Amityville with Geraldine's brother, Robert Rodon, who was with him at the time of the murder and could verify his story completely. In 1990, Robert DeFeo Jr. filed a 440 motion, a proceeding to have his conviction vacated. In support of his motion, DeFeo asserted that Dawn and an unknown assailant who fled the house before he could get a good look at him killed their parents, and Dawn subsequently killed their siblings. He had said the only person he killed was Dawn, and that it was by accident as they struggled over the rifle. Again, he asserted that he was married to Geraldine and that her brother was with him at the time of the murders. Affidavit from Richard Rodo was submitted to the court and asserted that he could not be located to testify in person. Evidence was submitted by the courts by the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, suggesting that Richard Rodon did not exist and Geraldine Gates was living in upstate New York, married to someone else at the time of the murders. Geraldine Gates did not testify at the hearing because authorities had already confronted her about the false claims, and in 1992 secured a statement under oath which admitted Rodon was fictitious and that she did not actually marry Robert DeFeo until 1989 in anticipation of the filings of the 440 motion. Judge Starks denied the motion, writing, "I find the testimony of the defendant overall to be false and fabricated. His testimony that during the fall of 1974 he was married and lived with his wife and child in Long Branch, New Jersey, is incredible and not worthy of belief. He produced no corroborating evidence in this regard. Another reason for any disbelief of the defendant's testimony is demonstrated by consideration of several portions of the trial testimony. He signed a lengthy written statement describing in detail his activities. In the statement, he said he lived with his family at 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville and that he worked for his father. That he was actually went to and from work with his father. That he was ill and stayed home from work on November 12, 1974. That he was on probation for having stolen an onboard engine and had an appointment to see as a probation officer in Amityville that afternoon. Defendant's girlfriend, Wendy Weiss, testified she began dating the defendant in 1974 and was with him frequently that summer and fall. Starks further declared defendant's testimony that he did not shoot and kill the members of his family is likewise incredible and not worthy of belief.
Okay.
So he keeps making up fucking stories just to try to get out of jail.
Okay.
But we still don't have a motive for why he killed his goddamn family. Other than maybe he...
Just in a fit of rage?
Could be, or a drug-induced... Yeah, or drug-induced rage.
Yeah. Okay.
So... Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's... it's a very sad story. There's no doubt about it. No matter what his motive was. You know, that's a very tragic event.
Yeah.
I am sort of reading about this one aspect of it. I don't know if you were going to touch on this, but I guess in 2012 some new evidence came out.
Okay.
That raises questions in the decades-old Amityville horror murders. And the question being asked is, did Ronald DeFeo Jr. act alone? And this documentarian says he had help in killing. And let me just read you a quick little blurb here. 37 years later, a claim that new evidence has been unearthed is raising new questions. The new evidence, so essentially they took some... Here, hold on, sorry. They took a team of underwater archaeologists hired by this guy doing the investigation, this guy named Katzenbach. And they found a gun in the canal behind the house. Mm-hmm. The guy leading the archaeologist dig said once we cleaned the gun off, you could see that there was a trigger and a handle but said that the gun was turned over to the crime lab immediately for a forensic ID. And Katzenbach, the guy who ordered the investigation, said that this new evidence confirms a long-standing belief that DeFeo didn't act alone. He needed help to kill 6 people. Katzenbach has long questioned the idea that a single person could have committed the crime. How could a person walk through a 3-story Dutch colonial, shoot 6 different victims on 2 separate levels, and no one got out of bed? No one put up a struggle. This is what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that hit me. Like, either, okay, fine, they were sedated and no one was awake, or, 6 people.
Yeah,
it's not like...
That's the one part they can't explain. How you went through 3 different levels killing people and no one had put up a struggle or fight.
So let me read you just a little bit more. Other details about the case taken together add up to a second gun and a second shooter. Katzenbach says evidence like a photograph of a pillowcase found in a trash can next to the canal. Katzenbach claims that the details from the 1974 police report point to the possibility that someone else helped DeFeo kill his family. Eyewitness reports, crime scene photos, and handwritten notes all add up to a second gunman, according to Katzenbach. He maintains that there was evidence that was overlooked once the police found a suspect and got a confession. The gun that they found is still being examined, but it's got a lot of decay and a lack of legible serial numbers. It may be impossible to ever identify, and that's it.
And who was the person in charge of that?
Katzenbach.
Katzenbach?
Okay. Katzenbach. Okay.
It might be... No, it's probably not tied to this, but because there's another theory brought up by Ronald DeFeo. He had met with Rick Ozula, the author of The Night the DeFeos Died, which was published in 2002. According to Ozula, they spoke for about 6 hours. However, in a letter to the radio show host Lou Gentile, DeFeo denied giving Rick Ozula information that could be used for his book, claiming he immediately left the interview and not speak to Ozula about anything of substance. Excuse me. According to Ozula, DeFeo Jr. claimed he had committed the murders with his sister Dawn and 2 friends. Angie DeGeneral and Bobby...
DeGeneral, the insurance company?
No, DeGeneral. Yeah, the insurance company.
Call the general for a good time.
Yeah, when you want to kill your family, call the general now. And Bobby Kinzel, out of desperation because his parents had plotted to kill him. Allegedly, Ronald claimed that after a furious row with his father, he and his sister planned to kill their parents and that Dawn murdered the children in order to eliminate them as witnesses. He said that he was enraged on discovering his sister's actions, knocked her unconscious on her bed and shot her in the head. Police found traces of unburnt gunpowder on Dawn's nightgown, which DeFeo proponents allege proves that she discharged the firearm. However, at trial, the ballistics expert Alfred Della Prena testified that unburnt gunpowder is discharged through the muzzle of a weapon, indicated she was the proximity of the muzzle of the weapon when it had been discharged. It was not that she fired a weapon. He reiterated this on the Amityville documentary that is extensively discussed in Will Savage Mentally Ill in Amityville. Savvis had an expert evaluate Della Prenta's assessment, and the expert claims that he was correct. Moreover, the medical examiner found nothing to indicate that Dawn had been in a struggle. The bullet wound was only fresh mark on her body. Joe Nichols notes that given the frequency in which Ronald DeFeo had changed his story over the years, any new claims from him regarding the events that took place on the night of the murder should be approached with caution.
Okay. So there's definitely some different theories and different stories being made up, not only by the murderer himself, but a couple of the investigators, including the guy you're talking about and the guy I'm talking about. I'm curious as to Is it because the guy's story keeps changing that there's other speculation out there?
Yeah, and the